Hey, True Believers, Englentine here with a review-ish kind of thing about the Black Lightning Hong Kong Phooey comic book. Now, I've been a big fan of these team-ups. I was a fan of them last year when you had stuff like Green Lantern teaming up with Space Ghost and Booster Gold and the Flintstones and such. I liked those, and I've been enjoying these as well. You know, and I've done a review of a couple of them already. It's just they're just tons of fun. They really are. And knowing that, you know, these are the things I grew up with, Hong Kong Phooey, Black Lightning, I remember reading him when he first came out, is just two of my favorite characters in animated / comic book form. So I was very happy to read this up to a point. Now, let me touch upon this so I get a little review out, and then we're going to go into this. The Black Lightning and Hong Kong Phooey is the better story of this book. Now, I felt it was more like Hong Kong Phooey with his sidekick Black Lightning. They're not exactly partners in this. As a matter of fact, it feels like Black Lightning is really just along for the ride, and occasionally you're reminded he's there. Hong Kong Phooey is played very seriously in this. Now, of course, he's silly in the cartoon, so I guess maybe they couldn't do that, you know. But here's another thing: I couldn't hear Scatman Crothers coming out of this particular Hong Kong Phooey, so I was a little, I don't know if this is the character, you know. This isn't the character Hong Kong Phooey to me. It's a dog who knows karate who's got that name. I mean, just the name Hong Kong Phooey of anything, which, by the way, they didn't call him that, and I can understand. It's one of those names that I guess nowadays somebody would be like, oh, that's insensitive. But yeah, I just didn't see this as the character at all. There's no sense of wonder. There's no sense of fun to him. He's very much the wise, mystical, come from Asia character who never smiles, never has a fun thing to say or anything. The story itself is all right. I mean, you know, you got the team up of the bad guy from the cartoon with the Black Lightning villains, and you know, and that's pretty cool. You got Cheshire and the Bronze Tiger and such. That's pretty. I like that. In all honesty, I did enjoy the story. It's just, once again, it didn't feel like what I remember and such. And that's something that, even though I wasn't a big fan of Jabberjaws and Aquaman, that at least both characters felt like the characters that they were. You know, it's a little different. Okay, so we need to talk about this. The big problem comes from Spectre of the Gun, a story starring the Funky Phantom, which is a Revolutionary War era Phantom. And he goes to a gun rally. Yeah, he's just haunting, and he bumps into a gun rally. And I was like, hey, look, there's this Revolutionary War guy. We got to check him out. And it all becomes about, it's an anti-Second Amendment story, written by somebody who, I don't even think they even heard of the Constitution. It's one of those, don't let your Constitution get in the way of my beliefs kind of guy, because there are things that are said about the Constitution that just aren't true. Like they bring, oh, well, I'll bring one up to you. And it's this huge pile of papers they bring up to him. It's like, well, after 4 hours worth of reading, we get to the First Amendment. No, that's not how it is at all. And it just, so yeah, it's like, oh, we got right up to the free speech part. And it's really ridiculously bad. The people who own the guns, you know, they're like, oh, my gun jammed, you know, looking in the barrel, accidentally shooting everything all over the place. And then finally they decide to teach gun safety for muskets at the end. Got news for you. A lot of legal gun owners take gun safety courses. They wouldn't hand you a loaded gun. And that's part of the problem. But to not even understand and know about the Constitution, not even know the structure of it, much less what they're talking about, The guys are like, I've got this AR-15 with a bum stock. This thing goes fully automatic. And I'm doing that because I'm sure that when they wrote this, that's how they made the man sound. It truly does read like a story from somebody who heard somebody say something at a college and decided that everybody who likes guns are one way and everybody who dislikes them are the other, and the ones who dislike them are good people and looking out for the welfare of their fellow man, while, you know, if you own a gun, you just want to go out and kill something. As a matter of fact, you're counting your days to go out and kill something. And it's ridiculous. It's like I said, for specifics, I would defer to Weaponized Rage, Nerd Rage. He's the gun enthusiast. He could probably tell you more. But as somebody who just knows Constitution and such, the book tries to be clever by using the wording of the Constitution against you, saying like the well-regulated militia. Meaning, and then it says, hey, wait a second, you have a standing army, therefore you don't need a well-regulated militia. Yeah, oh, well, if you continue, it says being necessary to the security of a free state. That's not just from foreign enemies, that's from domestic. And I know, you're going to go against the American government? No, the presence of 300 million guns in America hopefully will kind of dissuade them from trying. You know, just saying. And let's not forget, of course, they make a big deal about the bum stock AR-15. We could fire. There were repeating rifles and repeating pistols even back in the Revolutionary War days. Just saying. Or back when they wrote the Constitution. So this isn't like it's all new. And anyway, I'm sorry, but like I said, the book gets a whole bunch of stuff wrong. And I've said this before. If you come with facts, by all means, make an argument. I'm cool with that. I'm good. You know, if you come with facts, that means you've read the same facts and you have a difference of opinion, and that's fine. But if you have to make shit up, in order to make your argument, then you're just not worth my time. And I'm afraid that this book, this story right here, is just not worth any more of my time. I of course. Hey, wait a second, you made a video of it, Englentine. How can it not be worth your time? It's worth it to talk about it. It's worth it to point out that it's ignorant, but you're right. It's not worth it to even try to argue if they're not going to. And nobody's listening anyway, except for you guys. So there you go. Once again, this is not an in-depth discussion about gun control. And by all means, I know there's people who listen who are on both sides of the thing. If I got anything wrong, I didn't try to go deep. I just tried to point out that what the fuck are these people talking about? And why is this even in this book? It's the Funky Freaking Phantom. I saw those cartoons. Do you know what the Funky Freaking Phantom didn't even decide to be about at all ever back then? Gun control. Dear comic book writers, no matter who you're working for, DC, Marvel, independent, independent, that's your own thing. If it's a creator-owned, by all means, didn't mean you guys, that's a different story. If it's your characters, by all means. But what the hell, gang? Yeah, their politics back in the day were done better. Shut the f*** up. I was there. I read them. Didn't shove it down your throat. This is throat shoving. Every character with a gun looks like they're a f***ing idiot and acts like it too. Come on. Be better. Be smarter. Jesus, Lord in heaven. What is going on these days? Seriously, what are they doing to our comics when they bring this stuff in? That's what really ticks me off. The politics have been in comic books since fucking Superman burst in to stop is it really politics to be a union buster? I don't know. Anyway, I guess way back then, politics have been. Well, yeah, you know, it was in the wars and even all sorts of stuff. And now they're just doing them piss poorly. Very badly. And why is the big answer. Why? These books should have been fun. And instead, what do? You screwed up Aquaman and Jabberjaw. And now you went and you fucked up the Funky Phantom. Oh yeah, and there was a scene at the end. I think I mentioned it before, where they're training everybody to use, colonial style muskets forget about the fact, like I said, there's repeating muskets back then as well. Anyway, anywho, what did you think? Did you read Black Lightning and Hong Kong Phooey and the Funky Phantom story? Oh, did you like it? Did you hate it? This was all done by memory. I didn't really look up anything, so if by all means I got something wrong, if I got a fact wrong, let me know in the comments below, or whatever you think. If you liked it, disagreed, agreed, put it down in the comment section. Also, if you like this video, click like, share, of course, get word out about the channel, and don't forget to hit subscribe and notifications, because cool things happen around these parts. Also, this is the way we want to make a living, so if you don't mind helping the channel out, go on over to Patreon, drop $1 in the till, help us to get better equipment, better software, and like to thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.
Phooey, #1 super guy. Hong Kong Phooey, quicker than the human eye. He's got style, a groovy smile, and a mouth that just won't stop. When the going gets rough, he's super tough with a Hong Kong Phooey chop. Hong Kong Phooey, #1 super guy. Hong Kong